everybody, welcome back to new Helena here at the peak of Ramshackle Reach with Archdruid Zelen and the Deer Cryptid, who might be looking a little bit different soon enough. We're working on getting a more proprietary, streamlined mod that deals in having some nice models and such, but the deer is still a very nice model. It's by Elucent of Mystical World, I believe is the mod. Also of embers and a bunch of other things. But today, last time we talked about how we turn a trader into a teleporter. Today we're talking about how we do multi-step quests. Because if we'll just go through Zelen here. If we go to quests, we've divided these all into different sections, and the vast majority of them are just like Crave That Mineral here, which is the Ramshackle Reach daily quest. And you have a single type. It'll be a location, or a kill quest, or an area kill quest, or an item quest. In this case, we have to get certain items and such. And then you can fulfill these instantaneously, or by carrying them back to a certain NPC. In this particular case, it is the Deer Cryptid over there. And that's all well and good for the most point. That gets you a decent variety of things. But for more complicated things, you really want to start figuring out how to have quests that can do multiple things, ideally at once. So, the example that we have here, inside of Ramshackle Reach, is in fact currently the most complicated quest that we have here, and that is Embracing the Green. That is our Britannia opener quest. Now, some decisions have changed in the back behind the scenes of the server, and we're no longer limiting Britannia very much, but this is still a nice little way to get into your first Britannia section of getting a mana pool. And we've broken this down into steps here, so we've got 5 different steps. And if I go to the map over here, we can pretty much describe what exactly goes on in this entire quest chain. So, you start up here, you talk to Archdruid Zelen. Archdruid Zelen then sends you all the way over to here, which is a Divine Spring, to get some water. You then go all the way back to the Deer Cryptid, and they take the glass of water and tell you to go to the rune, of the altar over here. You go to there, you pray to the altar, you come back, and then the Deer Cryptid blesses you and gives you a full, normal Britannia mana pool. And the way that we have accomplished this is a little bit roundabout, but it does work. More or less. Things on the server are very jank, nonetheless. So here we have a location quest. And this particular one is to tell you to go to the Sacred Spring. Over at the Sacred Spring we have a CustomNPCs location block, which will then allow you to get that message. And that's instant complete, so you get there and it immediately finishes up. Slightly wishing I had kept commands available to me so that I could go into spectator mode and do this really quickly. And here we have it. It's a protected zone. You can't build in here if you're not an admin, more or less. But it's fairly small and unobtrusive. So under here, indeed I believe, almost precisely underneath this dirt block, is a location block with the title of Sacred Spring. So you come over here, that immediately finishes, and I no longer have an NPC nearby, so let me just grab you here. Okay, so you auto-complete that one. It says in the data that it refers to a specific NPC, but it's irrelevant because it's set to instant complete. And then we have next quest set to Embracing the Green 2. So you get this next one in the line. That one is to take an item, which if we check here is a little bit wonky now because I probably just borked that, but oh well, it's fine. You take the item, which is a water bottle, just a plain water bottle, to the NPC. You can get that water bottle right here, so consequently that's almost instant complete, but then you go over to complete by the NPC. Because this isn't set to instant complete, you have to actually turn it in, and that's when you get given the next quest, finishing the whole thing, that kind of stuff. In this case, I had better just very quickly grab myself a water bottle and fix that quest. So just give you a little idea of the behind the scenes and the kind of stuff you have to deal with around here a little bit. So there we go. 1 water bottle. So that then requires that you go over to our next stop, and I'll just delete Cray here. So goodbye. This is sort of the thematic for a lot of the quests the druids of Ramshackle Reach give out. There is a lot of walking to be done, a lot of pilgrimages, I guess would be the phrase, but it's fine. You get all the way back up here, you talk to the Deer Cryptid, and then you are given the next quest in the chain. So, once again, over to Ramshackle Reach, you get Embracing the Green free. This is another location quest, which means you have to go over to a location. In this particular quest, the location in question is the altar that's over here, which I think is the altar of Zegrun. I know I've given it a name, but I don't recall exactly what that name is off the top of my head right now, because we have a lot of names to deal with. And this one is where things are a little bit more non-standard than even the Sacred Spring, because here we have an actual use of scripted blocks. So we've got ourselves a nice, once again, unobtrusive but still build-guarded little structure here, the altar. And if I come over to here, we have a very large Britannia runic altar. Like, oh boy, that's pretty huge. In fact, just to give you a comparison there, that is the size of a regular altar. Very big. And that's because this is not a runic altar. This is, in fact, a scripted block. Yeah. And we just buffed out the edges a bit so it looks and behaves a little bit more like an actual thing. So in here we have a scripted block, and the description for the quest that you're given here is that you have to pray to the block, which in terms of Minecraft gameplay means right-click on it. And if we look into it, we can see when it initializes, it becomes indestructible, becomes all sorts of things, detonable, indestructible in general, I guess, with everything. And then we give it a light value, so it glows in the dark. We set its scale to more than, well, just more than twice the scale of a regular block. And we set it to be a runic altar, so it gives that nice little view, little effect. And then when it gets interacted with, we fetch the player, we check if the player has the proper quest. If they do, we stop that quest, we start the next one. These are the ID values, you can see those in the quest lists when you're looking through the entities. And we have this little quick function called doQuest, which tries to send it through, and then if nothing else, it just cancels the effect. So doQuest is we call ourselves one of the functions that we have on the server, which is the altar of Megrun. There we go, it wasn't a Zegrun. Functions are basically a list of commands to be run through, not unlike a line of command blocks, and they allow us to do some really funky things. In this particular case, the only thing that they do is spawn a diluted mana pool, a little particle effect and a noise on the top here. And a little thing that's really funny about this is that because of, I think it's quark or rustic, we have a slab in the middle here, just to make sure that the physicals, if I'm standing here, then it's actually like, it looks like I'm standing on the block. But because it's a slab, we can also sit on it, which is just entertaining. So that completes one quest, gives you the next one, and drops a diluted mana pool. The next quest is to receive the Deer Cryptid's blessing. So we go all the way back, all the way up here. I'm surprised no one's made like a road or something to this. But there's only, I think, one person currently living on Ramshackle, so that's not terribly surprising. So you come all the way over to here, to the Deer Cryptid, and you finish up that next quest. So if we look at the quests one more time here. So here is the dialogue. This is the one that you don't actually complete, because this is the one that the Altar of Megaran just cancels and starts up the next one. ID 36, so 37 is an item quest where you bring a diluted mana pool to Kirin, and Kirin has a little bit of extra things. The reward for this is very simply just an actual mana pool, taking the item, the diluted mana pool. But to give it a little bit more pomp and circumstance, we go over to here, on Interact, much like what we did with the block. If the player has the active quest of that, then we say to the player, nicely done, let me tune that up for you real quick. We give them a sort of a targeter little thing here, and then we do Embracing the Green 5, which floats you up, makes you near indestructible, as well as a bunch of things near you, and then strikes you with lightning, because that's kind of the Deer Cryptid's thing. Why not? we also have a little thing that's sort of like the Dear Cryptid's addendum to Quest 35, which is when you've brought back the water. Wow, that's quenchy, thanks. So you're doing pretty well so far, friend. Why don't you go check out the Altar of Megra? That's a little, like, nice little bit of color, if you will. And that shows how we can actually have the scripts of the NPCs and the blocks interact with the quest lines, also interacting with the functions that are a part of Minecraft 1.12, which we are thankfully running on for this particular server iteration. And that is a quick rundown of how you can have more complex quests by virtue of stringing components together like that and making things work a little bit as well using the scripts and the functions and the like. A less complicated version of that is over here in New Helena. We have the Sailor quest line, which is just to visit every single one of the major island groups on the server, and these are just location quests, wherein the next one in line is the next island. Very straightforward. But we have a bunch of different quest options, and a bunch more still to come. I got a ton planned, I just need to find the time in my increasingly busy schedule. But that is it for today, so I hope you enjoyed that look at how we make complicated quests, or more convoluted, I guess might be the phrase. And we should have a server event coming up in the next episode, so I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll catch you all, as always, from here on New Helena next time.